Hello everyone, welcome to Quarrelsome Rhinoceros Stitches, a year in review. So, I thought it would be kind of cute to put on all of the knitwear that I've made this year and kind of go through it one by one to tell you exactly what I've made this year, what progress I've made, what I feel like I could have improved on, and then what I plan to do for next year. So it is very, very hot putting all of this knitwear on. I didn't realize I had made quite as many garments, or I guess I'm including shawls and garments. I'm not wearing all of the socks that I knit. I am just doing shawls and sweaters today. And I'm gonna talk a little bit about what I want to do for next year. So let me pull up my handy list. I do have all of these in Ravelry pages, in project pages on Ravelry. So I am going to pull those up while I talk about them. And yeah, just in case I forget anything. So I'm gonna start off, since it's very difficult to talk right. Whew, let's get right into it. So this first shawl is my meandering shawl by, the pattern is by Stephen West. Back up a little so you can see the whole thing. It is a triangle, sort of asymmetrical triangle shaped shawl. And so the pattern is by Stephen West. I'm using two different yarns. So this white one is a Knit Picks Stroll in White. The purple one is... It is Wonderland Yarns in the Amethyst colorway, which was an exclusive to the Fiber Muse Alchemy kit, the first one that came out. So there's that. I finished this one, let's see. So I finished this one in September of this year. This was the very first brioche project that I made. There are some problems with it that I would have liked to fix. So the next brioche shawl, I actually have an idea of what I want to do next for brioche. But yeah, so there are definitely problems with it. It is my first brioche project, but I absolutely love it anyway, and I wear it all the time. This is probably the shawl that I wear most often out of all of the shawls I've made this year. So, whew, let's see. Next up, I will pull off this one. I'm going to be very warm by the time this video is over, which is fine because it's been intensely cold here lately. This shawl was a mystery knit along that I did very close to the beginning of this year. It is the Hallibop. It is by Amba O'Brien. It was a mystery knit along that she did for the in the beginning part of the year. I made it with 3 different Knit Picks yarns. So this one is Stroll Tonal in Orbit, I think. This one is the Hawthorn Speckle in the Blueberry Speckle colorway, and this one is Dove Heather, I believe. Yeah, so it's got this like U shape, and then there's like this long tail on the end of it. It's really cool. It's got a picot bind off. I have only ever done one picot bind off. I really desperately need to reblock this. I have not reblocked it since I knit it earlier this year. I finished it on March 22nd of this year, and I haven't reblocked it since, so it really does need another blocking so that these picots will actually stand out. This one is probably my second most worn shawl. Next, this is my Changing Staircases shawl. It is a pattern by Tristan Molina of Dragon Horde Yarn. I knit this in probably, I think it took me like 2 days to knit the whole thing. I knit it in, let me pull it up here. I can actually tell you. So it took me 4 days to finish it. So I finished it on September 12th. And this yarn is On the Round, which is she's sort of local to me. She lives closer, further south in Maine than I do, but this is the Cosmic Speckled Rainbow colorway, or speckled cosmic rainbow, something like that. I really like this shawl. I don't wear it as much as I wear my other ones just because it's not as big and it is very cold here at the moment. So yeah, I'll probably wear this closer to the springtime. Let's make sure none of these things fall off my back. Oh, I've already lost one shawl. Okay, let's talk about my own designs next. So this is, whoop, oh, all of them are falling off. Okay, hold on. If I lived anywhere else, this would be such a pain. It would be so hot to do this, but right now, because it is so cold outside, it is actually really nice having all of the knitwear on. So, so next is, actually let's do this one next. Let me put this back on my back. This is where shawl pins would come in handy. I don't have any shawl pins at all. Okay, so this shawl, I don't know if you will remember this from my podcast, but I made this one in January, I think, of this year. This one is the Polana shawl, sorry, by Amber O'Brien. I finished it on February 6th of this year. I used 2 yarns from my local yarn shop called One Lupin, and it's a very like woolly wool. Like it's not a very soft wool, very sturdy. I can't remember the fiber content on it, and I don't think that there were colors on it. But yeah, so this so I had 1 skein of each of these colors, the blue and the brown, and the blue was significantly longer. Like I had more of the blue, so one end is just all blue instead of striped. The edging is done with an alpaca merino blend. And I think I did just a regular bind off on this, except for this, this round bit at the bottom where I did a surprisingly stretchy bind off, and it worked really well. I really love this scarf. I haven't worn it very much this winter yet, but I think once it gets closer to like February, March, I'll be wearing it a lot more because it is a lot smaller and it fits under my coat a lot better. All right, now on to my own designs. So I have published 2 patterns this year. I have published the Emma Tendlick shawl, which means quick in Old English, or measured. So here is the first version. This is the sample that I knit. It has 3 sort of different textured settings. 3 different textured sections. So it's got like just a regular stockinette section. It's got this like slip stitch section here, and then it's got an eyelet section, and then I did a couple of color changes on that as well. It also has a garter section for the edging. And so this is the first shawl that I ever knit that I designed, and I really love it. It is really big and cozy. It is made with Plymouth yarns, in like the Homestead line, I believe. This is the color Merlot, this one is charcoal, this one is the Homestead tweed. And it's great, I love it a lot. And then, so because I loved it so much, I made a second one of them. So this is a bigger version. See, it is a lot bigger, a lot more squishy and cozy. You can actually see the textures on it a little bit better just because of the color. So there's, again, the stockinette section, the slip stitch section, and then I did another slip stitch section before I did the color change. I did eyelets, and then I did a bigger garter section as well. Now, I am going to revise this pattern, and for anybody who has bought it, they'll get the updated version. Because it's kind of a mix and match shawl, so like I'm gonna write it in a different way than I wrote it to begin with. But I really love this shawl. I will use this second version as the sort of as the sample, I guess, for the second version of the pattern. Sorry, got sidetracked. So the next one, and last shawl that I made this year, is the Tempest shawl. So this is my own design. It has 2 textured panels running down the center spines of the shawl, and then it has a lace section border on it. I really love this shawl. I want to design a bunch more that are very similar to this. I have, this was the first pattern that I've ever had tech edited, and it's really great. I really, really love it. I don't wear it very much because I don't wear over-the-shoulder shawls very often, but I don't feel like it looks that great on me, at least. I haven't found how to wear it not over my shoulder yet. So we'll see. But I absolutely love this shawl. This is made with 2 different Knit Picks yarns. So this one is the Stroll in Duchess Heather, and then this one here is Stroll Tonal in the Raven colorway. And then I did run out of the Raven closer to the end, so I striped in some of the Duchess Heather on the end of that lace section there. But yeah, so it is nice and light, even though it's a lot of shawl. I think there's 215 grams in here of yarn, but it's nice and light because the yarn that I used is pretty light. So those are all of the shawls that I've made, which is really exciting. I have some more planned for next year, but excuse me. But yeah, so let's move on to the 4 sweaters that I've made. So this outer one here, is the Black Forest cardigan that came out in the Woods Making Stories book by Hannah-Lisa Hefferkamp and Verena Kors. This pattern is by Verena, and it's a big, squishy, soft cardigan that I actually don't wear at all. And it makes me really sad. So I was one of the test knitters, and I really liked the project while I was working on it. It really did hurt my wrists because it's so heavy. And I thought I was gonna really love it, except that I don't really like this neckline at all. I don't like how it sits. I just don't like anything about it. So I think that this project is going to get frogged. It's the way ends are already woven in, it's blocked. I think I'm still going to frog it. That being said, I already have a plan for the yarn that'll come from it. The very first pattern that I bought from Joji Locatelli is the pole sweater. And I saw someone had knit that using this yarn. Not this color, but this yarn brand. And I think that I'm finally gonna make myself a pole. I really love it. It's basically like, it's like a rectangle and sleeves with a big circle around it. So I think I am going to make that with this yarn once I rescue it from this pattern or from this project, because I'm not happy with it. I don't wear it, and I know a lot more, I think, about garment structuring now. So hopefully I'll be able to make the pole. And that's my plan for this. I still really love this yarn, and it is big and squishy, and I do wear it when it's like freezing cold. But I would like to have something that I can wear, that I feel like I can wear out of the house confidently, and not constantly adjusting it, basically, is the plan. So that is, yeah, that's the Black Forest cardigan. Next on the list is this yellow cardigan that I made. So this one is the Koru cardigan by Aroha Knits, Frenchie of Aroha Knits, designed this pattern. And it's got this beautiful lace and cable section at the back, and these lace panels that go down the front. And it is really cozy, comfy. I made it with Knit Picks gloss lace, which is the silk wool silk blend fingering weight yarn. It's in the honey colorway. This sweater I love. There's nothing I don't love about it. I did mess up on one part of it, but I can't even remember which side, honestly, I did the mess up on. Oh, there we go. The only way you can look is by looking on the inside of the neck binding, and that is it. But it is fine. I really enjoy wearing it. I think next year I would like to make some closed cardigans, like some cardigans that actually close and are have buttonholes and like close, because both of the actually all three of the cardigans that I made this year, including the Black Forest one, none of them close and they're just open, which is fine. But I do have one cardigan that I wear regularly, that's store-bought, that I wear closed 100% of the time. So I would really like to have a replacement for that, because the goal is eventually to have a bunch of hand knit sweaters that I wear and get rid of all of my commercial ones, all except the ones that have sentimental value. I do have one sweatshirt, like zip up hoodie, that I won't be getting rid of because of where I bought it and the memories that I have of the sweater, and I want to keep those, and it is my favorite sweatshirt and I wear it all the time. But when I wear a knit sweater, I want to be wearing one that I made myself, rather than something that I bought commercially. And actually, I think I'm going to share a little bit about the sweaters that I want to replace this year. So when I'm done, I have 2 more sweaters left, and then I'll talk about that. So the next sweater, oh, it's a bit chilly in here now. As soon as my arms come uncovered, I get chilly. So the next sweater is my Old Romance. This is my most recent finished object. I really love this sweater. I love it a lot. I have worn it so much that I actually really badly need to depill it. So if you can see that, I knew this was going to happen because it is a 100% merino yarn, and it's not a high twist. So I knew it was going to pill. And I chose to make the sweater on purpose anyway because I love the yarn so much. And after a depilling, I feel like it will be fine. So I just need to get myself a gleaner. That's it. So there, that is my Old Romance sweater. This is done with Dingo Dye Works. This is the pinky colorway. This is Carimbia. Yeah, it is squishy and soft. I almost wish that I had continued the body a little bit longer than the pattern had told me to. I do have some of this yarn left over. If I were to go back, I would go back and do it again. I would have to take out the neck binding and the bottom ribbing and then extend it, so I probably won't do that. Mostly because I hate knitting neck bindings. Neck bindings are my least favorite part of knitting a sweater. Honestly, I would rather just not knit one and have it look messy and roll than have to knit one. It takes me so long to do it. And then last but not least is my Chuck sweater. So this is a pattern by Andy Satterland. This is done in the Lion brand Fisherman's Wool. And it's got this beautiful cable on the front. And yeah, I knit this sweater in a week. Because it's a short cropped sweater. I put short cropped sleeves on it. Yeah, basically, there's not really much else to say about this. I love it. I do wish that I had gone down a size. So for anybody who is knitting this, I don't think the pattern tells you what kind of ease you want to be wearing this sweater with. I will say I wish that I had knit the size down, because this is quite large on me. Even I think I made either the second, like, I either made the largest or the one right below the largest size. Which I think was like a 50 inch, I can't remember, 46 inch. I'm not sure. Anyway, so, I wish that I had made a size smaller than what I did. Because it is loose in the ribbing at the bottom, and so it doesn't fit as nicely to my natural waist as I wish that it did. That being said, it is really nice and cozy, and I can wear it over pretty much all of my skirts. So, or with all of my skirts, because all of my skirts are high-waist skirts. So there's that. So that is all of my garments. I am so proud of myself. Before this year, I had never knit a sweater, or well, I had, but it was just a pullover and it didn't fit me right. It fits me now because I like, since I've made it, I have gained a little bit of weight, but it fits me perfectly now. It's a little bit long in the sleeves because I didn't actually take gauge before I made the sweater. I just went and knit the sweater, which I don't recommend doing, by the way. I recommend gauge swatching every time you're gonna make a garment because it just makes things so much easier. Even though you have to do a little bit of math, it still makes it a lot better. So that is everything that I've knit this year, and my plans for next year are to repurpose this black forest cardigan. And I want to knit, I have the yarn to knit 3 other sweaters. So I would like to make a pullover to replace a cabled pullover that I have, that I bought, I think at Kohl's, that I wear pretty frequently. And it's like a little bit oversized, but I would like one that is more fitted, because I already have an oversized pullover. So, but I want a sort of fitted cable pullover, that I think I'm gonna use the Christmas green colorway that I got of the Cascade 220 to do. I did buy 4 more skeins of it from a yarn store in Texarkana. So hopefully when that comes, I'll be able to skein it up and make a nice pullover that actually fits me, and yeah, that I like, instead of one that I'm kind of okay with. I really want to make a cardigan that closes, as I said. I think that'll probably be my big grandpa cardigan that I'm going to make, because that's kind of the style of, it's like a boyfriend cardigan that that I have, that I wear closed all the time. Excuse me. So, those 2 things I really want to make. And then my 3rd sweater, I guess will be this one. So those are the only plans for sweaters that I have right now. I do have 2 shawls that I want to finish the designs for. I'm having a really hard time charting out the lace pattern for one of the shawls that I've been working on. And I'm kind of stuck with it right now, and I'm trying to figure out how to get unstuck with it so that I can finish writing the pattern, so I can finish knitting the sample. But yeah, so there's that. I'm sort of frustrated with it, so it's really hard for me to want to work on it. So I want to finish those 2 shawls, and then I am knitting a shawl for my grandmother and a shawl for my mom and a pair of socks for my aunt. And so those will be the only sort of gift knits I think that I make for the next year. I think most of the rest of it will be for myself, because I've turned into such a selfish knitter. And then, so those are the garment plans. I'm not gonna plan on any socks this year. I mean, I probably will knit socks, and I do want to try, so I knit a pair of socks that look like a number 2 pencil for my roommate for Christmas. And I knit them toe up, but with a heel flap and gusset, and I didn't try them on, but they look like they fit really well on her. So what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna knit myself a pair like that, but I don't know what yarn I want to use for that yet, so we'll see. Yeah, so that is everything for knitting. Now, for Christmas, I got kind of an awesome present. Let me go get it. It's in this big box. Ooh. So I got myself a sewing, or well, I have a sewing machine. So I had a sewing machine 3 years ago, right? Well, 4 years ago, I don't know. I got it a long time ago. Let's put this on the floor. You got the idea. Anyway, so my sewing machine broke, and then I moved to Maine. And then I've been kind of salty about not having a sewing machine since I got here. And so my roommate, her fiance, and her mom chipped in all together and bought me a new sewing machine for Christmas. And so I bought a new desk, and I'm gonna rearrange my room so that I can actually sew, which is really exciting. So I have a very low goal of making 3 outfits for myself, whether those are dresses or 2-piece outfits like a shirt and pants, or a shirt and skirt. But I want to make 3 separate outfits for myself, and then I would like to start making knitting bags. Because I really love project bags a lot, and I don't have a whole lot of them. I mean, I have more now because of the Get Your Yarn Wish Granted on Instagram, which I'm so thankful for. I've been so happy to actually put things in project bags. So, as most of you know, I have a dog. And I feel like his hair gets on all of my knitted projects that don't get in bags. So having project bags to put them in makes me enjoy the project a lot more, because I don't have to spend so much time dehairing it before I wash it. So yeah, it just makes me a lot happier in general. So I think I'm gonna start knitting myself some project bags if I like how they look and I like and I like the process of making them. I may end up opening an Etsy store, but that's so far in the future that I'm not really thinking about that at the moment. I do have a couple more plans for my knitting designs and for other projects to come, but I will leave that sort of to reveal later, because I haven't really gotten the details of all of that done yet. So, with all of that being said, thank you so much for joining me in my sort of New Year's, it's not even really a resolution, but it's my New Year's goal setting video and my sort of year in review. I had so much fun putting all of my knitwear on and showing you all of it piece by piece. So if you have any questions, please feel free to drop me a line. I have an email for the podcast. It is quarrelsomerhino@gmail.com. I'll put that up on the screen so you can see that. Or you can get in touch with me on Instagram or Ravelry. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again in the new year. Bye!